Hello everyone, so I'm here with a video that I never thought I would have to make. I am going to talk about what happened with KTown4U and why I'm actually angry about the situation and kind of what made me go from just being disappointed and a little just upset about it to just genuinely being angry. And why I personally am never going to buy from KTown4U ever again. So if that interests you, stay tuned. I have a cup of tea because, you know, if you're talking about things that are bound to make you angry, tea makes everything better, and, you know, teacups with saucers makes things especially better. So yeah, I'm just doing everything I can to not lose my temper. Especially this first part of the video when I kind of go over what happened. I'm not going to be super angry about it, but later on when we start talking about why I'm angry, that's when the tea will come in handy. And just in case you don't know about the whole situation, I'll do kind of a backstory about what the whole KTown4U situation is, and then we'll go into my feelings on it. So back end of January, I don't know the exact dates because everything's been deleted, but end of January, probably, well, mid to late January, let's be generous with time frame, mid to late January, it all started with a Wendy fan site and KTown4U partnering up and saying if we get 2,000 pre-orders for Revifestival finale, Red Velvet's Revifestival finale, we will put in a request to SM to have this album reprinted. But it was contingent on having those 2,000 orders. And at that time, it was just a deposit. So it was a $5 deposit. You would save your spot, and if the 2,000 orders were met, then you could then pay the remainder later on. You know, if those albums were to be reprinted. So lots of Red Velvet fans, Reveloves, were super excited because for whatever reason, the finale album went out of print really fast. So then all of a sudden, instead of it just being through the fan site link, which is how you were to get that reservation spot and everything, instead of it just being there, that being the only place you could find that listing for finale, all of a sudden KTown4U made a regular listing on their website, but it was normal price for the album. So instead of $5, it was $10 or whatever the normal price is. Then lots of Reveloves were very confused because they're like, well, what does this mean? Does this mean the album is for sure going to be reprinted? Does this mean that these orders are going to be counted to the 2,000 goal? What's going on? And apparently KTown4U was not communicating with the Wendy fan site. They were just as lost as everyone else. And then KTown4U started listing all of these other out-of-print albums from SM groups, specifically SM groups. They started listing all of them up for sale, as though they were in the process of being reprinted, that there was an expected date or, you know, a rough time frame that, you know, I will get these albums in my warehouse to ship to my customers, so I will list this on my website. Those albums included, I believe, more Red Velvet albums. It included lots of NCT albums that have been out of print that are honestly a little bit ridiculous in price to get secondhand. So pretty much all of NCT's early discography. So Cherry Bomb, 2018 Empathy, lots of Dreams, early stuff. So yeah, and then also, not only that, but also some FX albums were also listed for sale as well. And I wish I had taken screenshots, but of course at the time you don't think you need them. But the tweets and everything that they were sending out and the listings themselves did not say this is a pre-order or this is like a potential, we are in communication with SM. There was nothing to say that it wasn't finalized. Everything that they put out said, buy this through our website, we have this. There was a situation, I believe, in the midst of all this, and I'm not entirely up to date on this aspect of it because I was not really following this part of it, but I believe there was an issue with how those initial pre-order or like reservation spots, the $5 ones, where all of a sudden KTown4U said, we need the rest of the payment within, I don't know if it was like 24 or 48 hours. It was a really short period of time. And they said, we need payment for everything else like within this short period of time. Like I said, I'm not completely up to date on all of that, but that was another really odd situation where typically you would give more of a notice. I feel like it's common to do a week to 14 days, 1 to 2 weeks. I feel like that's fairly common because like I said, those albums were never marketed as like, this is what we have this, you will be getting this. It was like a reservation, so we will talk to SM about getting this reprinted. And then all of a sudden, everything's reprinted and we are like sending out everything. And that's when everything started to fall apart. So, let me pull up some tweets real fast. That way I can really tell you exactly what they said and how it all went down. All of a sudden, on the 21st of January, KTown4U releases this notice. The contents of album reproduction released to each fan club on January 11, 2021 were announced by KTown4U without prior consultation with SM Entertainment. Notices that have already been deleted will not accommodate album reproduction. We apologize for the misunderstanding. We will continue to take more care so KTown4U would not randomly misrepresent any content that has not been discussed with us. So pretty much, KTown4U said, we are selling these albums. We are expecting these albums to come to our warehouse. We have the knowledge that this many albums will come to us, so we can sell this many albums. But none of those albums that they had coming were ever in reproduction. Then, later on the same day, on the 21st, they released another statement. So the first statement came out, I want to say it was fairly late in the evening. Let me look at this again. No, it came out quite early in the morning of the 21st, my time. So I woke up to this notice. Then the second notice that they put out came that evening. So again, we're going my time. So it came much later after I'd worked my entire day and everything. And that notice said, "Hello, this is KTown4U. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience occurred regarding the album reproduction of SM artists. First, we are currently waiting on the official response from SM about whether to reproduce the albums and the production schedule. Although it has not been decided yet, We will refund the album reservation or purchase immediately to the customers who want to receive a refund due to yesterday's announcement. Also, if it is decided that the reproduction of the albums is not possible, we will refund the entire amount to the remaining customers. We apologize to the fans once again and promise that we will do our best to provide you with better service. So, and then they edited that statement slightly so that instead of it specifically mentioning SM and SM artists, that was no longer there. But it was a very strange thing. And then on the 22nd, so a day later, SM released a statement, and they released this on Facebook, and this is a translation from someone on Twitter, because they posted their statement on Facebook in Korean, and if you try to do the auto-translate for Facebook, it just gives you like a nonsense thing. Sometimes the Google Translate will give you the rough idea, but the one that it actually came up with was not it. So here's the statement from SM regarding this entire thing. And I know this is all really boring, but I feel like this is really important once we get into a little bit later on. So their statement reads, "Hello, this is SM Entertainment. We recently became aware that misconduct, such as joint purchase recruitment for the re-release of albums by our artists on online platforms such as KTown4U, has caused much confusion among fans. As mentioned in the announcement by KTown4U, this decision was not previously discussed with our company, and no related discussions are currently in progress. In order to reward fans who have been waiting for the re-release of our artists' albums, we are in business discussions with the related production manufacturing companies. We will make it possible to purchase these albums through each retailer through our normal distribution process as soon as possible. In the future, we will prepare a plan to directly receive and respond to opinions related to the re-release of albums through official retailers such as SM Town and Store. Thank you." Now getting into why this is such a big deal. So all of the announcements and statements that KTown4U has made have been through Twitter. All of the announcements in regards to that initial fan club or fan site agreement that they had for those 2,000 reservation minimum that they needed to put in the request, that was announced through Twitter. And then also announcements from various other fan clubs. Once they're like, we have all these albums in stock, other fan clubs were like, well, we'll support this. And so they also made announcements through those fan clubs on Twitter. However, if you just typed in NCT on their website, you would see these albums for sale. It wasn't something where you could only find it through a link, or you had to go to the fan club page on their website. This was accessible to anyone on their website. These albums were available to anyone. And I just want to make that clear because, again, this is something that will tie into what I'm going to talk about later on. In regards to fan clubs and fan sites and everything, or even just group order managers, because lots of times people will join group orders for websites such as KTown4U or just any website that is based or company that is based in Korea, because shipping when you're just buying 1 or 2 albums for yourself can get quite expensive. So if you join a group order, you pretty much divide the shipping between more people, which makes it a little bit more affordable. So one of the group order managers I follow on Twitter did figure out the totals for each item that's being reprinted and how much KTown4U, the total purchase cost would have been. So not like what KTown4U would have made. This is just like the retail of what each item was. And the total for the top 10 buyers of all of these items, and I will link this post down in the description because I think it's really interesting. But the total for all of those items, and there were quite a few that were listed, over, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 items in total. And for all I know, there could be more, but there are 18 items on this list. The grand total is $3,056,174.65. That's a lot of money. Now getting into why I'm so upset about the whole situation. So there are a couple of major issues that I now have with KTown4U as a company. The first of which is, of course, they lied. And in a way, they kind of scammed people. Because people purchased these items. They spent their money with the expectation that either the request will be put in for a restock in regards to the fan site that this all kind of started with. So either the request will be put in for a restock, or for everyone else involved, a restock is imminent. Like, we will be getting a restock. All the while knowing they had never talked to the company, and they were pretty much just taking in money with no knowledge of when they would ever fulfill these orders. So that's just sketchy in and of itself. If you do not think that is sketchy, please tell me why. Because I genuinely do not see how this can be anything but just really shoddy business practices. Because I think initially the whole, let's have a small deposit, and once we hit this number, we're going to contact the company, say we have at least this many people interested in the album, and if they agree to put the album back in production, great. If not, we'll refund everyone. I think that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. I think that's actually probably the best way to do things. However, the moment they switched from doing just the deposit to saying, this is in stock, get your album today, that's where things become problematic. And I don't want to say it's like a scam, but it kind of feels like a scam. So there's that aspect of it. And then there's also the aspect of, how will SM react? Because by their statement, it does seem as though SM is considering reprinting at least a few of these items. So let me take a look at that statement again so I don't misquote. The reason why I really am wondering what SM will do and how they will react is because of the line. It's the second paragraph, and it says, as mentioned in the announcement by KTown4U, this decision was not previously discussed with our company, and no related discussions are currently in progress. This leads me to believe that if they do reprint their albums, they will not be sending them to KTown4U. That they are just going to cease doing business with KTown4U. That's how I read that sentence. And I honestly wouldn't blame them. SM doesn't need KTown4U to distribute their albums. There are other retailers who will sell their albums and who people can get their albums from. Are they as accessible as KTown4U, as well known as KTown4U? No. KTown4U is definitely ships, I feel like they ship to the most countries, and they're probably the most well known. But again, are they the only one? Definitely not. Granted, they're probably the only one that ships to certain countries. I'm not completely up to date on all of that, so I don't want to misspeak and say that every country has other options. However, for the majority, how do I phrase this? I guess the countries or locations that buy the most from KTown4U, I do feel like there will be other options for those countries. If they do business with KTown4U again, I don't believe they will be doing any like exclusives with KTown4U. I don't believe that they would ever do a fan sign or anything like that. Just because, honestly, I wouldn't. If I were SM, I would be like, no, I don't want to do business with you. However, with that being said, I do still think that there's a possibility that at least some of the albums will be reprinted, because SM has seen how many people want them and are willing to buy them, and they've seen the demand. Just within that short period, they've seen the demand. And that's just from one retailer. Hey, editing Jennifer here. So, minor interjection before we get on with the video. It appears as though SM is restocking a lot of these albums. However, this is the weird thing. Not really weird, especially considering what I just said. But the thing is, they have the websites Aladdin, Sonara, and Yes24. I believe that's how you pronounce all of those websites' names. If I'm wrong, I'm really sorry. But those websites have listed restocks for pre-order, and they have expected stock dates and everything. But when one of the group order managers I follow asked KTown4U if they were also getting stock, KTown4U said, oh, we are going to hear back on this date. Please be patient. We'll get back to you then. So I really still think there's a possibility that SM is not going to restock KTown4U. Again, that's just my thoughts, my theories, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, just wanted to come on and interject that real fast before we get on with the rest of the video. So, yes. It's been about a week since then. A little over a week. So, about 10 days total since KTown4U's initial announcement. As of today. Today's January 31st. So exactly 10 days from when we first got that announcement. KTown4U has said that they will issue refunds to anyone who wants them in regards to this, and it'll be an equal refund to what you paid. And I did get a refund for the albums I had ordered, and I know for a lot of refunds that KTown4U does, they will do the exchange rate equivalent. So the refund you get is actually less than you paid, just based on how currency exchanges work. But for this particular refund that I did get, they issued the refund in full, dollar for dollar, cent for cent, that what I paid. So I will say, if you do want a refund and you've been hesitant to request one based on you're not sure if you'll get your money back exactly, I will say that the refund they issued me, it was completely equal to what I paid. However, the sketchiness and everything is like that aside, the reason why I personally am so angry at KTown4U and why I have made the decision to never purchase from them again is because the only place they posted the notice regarding the whole situation was Twitter. And the reason why this makes me angry is because there are probably hundreds of people who have no clue what's going on. Because to be honest, if I wasn't following so many group order managers on Twitter, I would have never known what was going on, because they were retweeting it and they were talking about it. And yeah, if I wasn't following them, I would have had no clue. Imagine someone doesn't have a Twitter, or they just aren't following anyone who is talking about it. I think that's incredibly irresponsible, and I think that's possibly even shadier than the entire situation to begin with, or it makes the entire situation that we started with, it makes it so much worse. Because you are, and this is just me kind of like saying you as in like KTown4U, it's not me being like you, but yeah, KTown4U is effectively denying information to their customers, and so there is the distinct possibility that so many customers that want refunds, if they knew about the situation, they would want a refund. They're not getting it because, of course, they don't know about the situation. How can you ask for something if you don't have all the information available? So that's why I'm so angry, because I have looked everywhere on their website. There is no mention of it. And that makes me very angry. I don't think that's right. And granted, I don't know a ton about computers, but from what I do know, to my knowledge, it's not that difficult to take like all the customers that ordered these specific albums, to get their email addresses and to send them an email saying, this is the situation. I don't think that's an absurd thing to request of a company. I really don't. I do not feel like there's an excuse. And like I said, it angers me because there are probably hundreds of people who don't know about the situation, who might want immediate refunds, who might feel the same way I do, but they just don't know about it. And so that's why I'm angry. That's why I can't trust them anymore. If there's anything that KTown4U ever does, like pre-order benefits or special items or whatever, I'll just wait and buy those like pre-order benefits off of Mercari, or yeah, I'll just get them secondhand. I'm not going to buy from them directly because I can't do it. And I realize I'm very privileged in that I do live in a country and I am in a position where I do have other options. So I don't want to say, if you still order from KTown4U, you're an awful person. That's not at all. This is just something that I need to do for me personally, because I cannot continue to support a company that is not transparent with their customers. I want to be like, KTown4U is an awful company or anything. Like, that's not my goal. My goal isn't to like malign a company or to say awful things. I mean, my goal isn't even to like, I don't know. Yeah, my goal isn't anything against KTown4U. That's not my goal. My goal is just, I don't know, to maybe make more people aware of the situation, if at all possible. I currently have one order that I'm still waiting for them to ship out. If they don't ship it out within the next couple days, I will cancel it. I've honestly just put off canceling it because I did save some money going through like fan club links and everything on their website. But moving forward, I will not be purchasing from them again, simply because no amount of money that I can save through their website and through fan club links and things like that, no amount of money that I can save will give me peace of mind. I will never be able to trust them again. And again, this is just me personally, so I don't want to say that if you do support them, you're an awful person. That's not it at all. Again, this is just me personally, so yeah, take everything that I've said with a grain of salt. But yeah, I don't know. And I don't know how you recover from this as a company. I really don't. I don't know how you can gain back trust. For me, they can't. For some other people, there might be steps that they can take that they will be able to rebuild that trust. But like I said, I am fortunate enough that I don't have to purchase from them, and so I won't. So yeah, that's pretty much everything in regards to this video. I hope I didn't babble on too much. I hope I was clear in what I was saying. I know I will have to do a lot of editing on this video because I stumbled over my words a lot and I lost my train of thought a few times. And like I said, I did have to charge my battery. So we'll see how this video turns out. If you did purchase from KTown4U in regards to any of the albums that they were supposedly reprinting or anything, let me know what you've decided to do. Like I said, I did cancel my order, but I did also join a group order for one of the albums. It was for the NCT 127 Superhuman Kino. So I am still waiting to hear on that. But for everything else that, like I said, everything else that I had ordered, it's been canceled, it's been refunded. But I would like to know if you have been involved in this situation, what you've decided to do. If you're not involved in this situation, let me know your thoughts. And yeah, I want to know what you think. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a wonderful whatever time of the day it is, wherever you are. I hope you guys are staying safe and you're staying healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. I love you guys.